In recent weeks, Republican town halls have descended into chaos as protesters and angry voters have used the opportunity to berate their congressional reps about what is happening in Washington. Most of the outrage has been directed at the expansive cuts in the federal government, spearheaded by Elon Musk and his DOGE team, who have taken a chainsaw to spending and slashed many programs.
Elon was going to be the main topic tonight, and he's going to continue to be the main topic tonight because we are all freaking pissed off about this. You're going to hear it and feel it.
The stunned reps haven't quite figured out how to respond to the angry disruptions.
And I get that you don't agree with me and you think I'm not telling the truth, but that's, unless they're lying to me, and you can say they are, so who? Okay. So apparently you know more than I do, so that's fine. But by and large, the president has great purview over where a lot of this money goes. Now, some of this is going to be litigated. So if you don't think it's going to be litigated in court, and you don't think I'm going to stand up for you,
While many constituents at the town halls have voiced support for the Trump administration and their Republican leaders, it's the angry grillings and outbursts seen in clips from red states across the country that have gone viral and caused a political firestorm. From Nebraska,
okay, let's talk about this. So your proposal to solve this is to tax the rich.
to Washington State.
By and large, what people of America see, what people of Eastern Washington see, is President Trump delivering on his promises. And so...
to Oklahoma.
And I didn't want to believe it. I'm a registered Republican voter, and this administration has gone absolutely off the track long ago.
To Kansas.
If you all keep cutting me off, if you're rude, which you're being, I'm going to leave. Thank you.
To North Carolina, where thousands of protesters gathered outside a town hall with Congressman Chuck Edwards and loudly shouted through the windows during the event.
Coward! Edwards is a coward! Edwards is a coward! Edwards is a coward!
But the real disruption came from a man in the audience who identified himself as a veteran and who shouted at Edwards before being let out by security. "Do your job, you're lying. I'm a veteran and you don't give a f*** about me," he yelled as he was led away.
You don't get to do this! You need to stand up for us! You need to do what we need you to f***ing do! You don't get to do this! You f***ing touch me again, I'll let you f*** me!
So how has the GOP responded to the onslaught of vitriol?
I think you're living in the greatest time in American history.
The crowd groaned or spoke over most of Alford's answers. Alford told federal employees who've lost their jobs to keep faith.
There are jobs available. God has a plan.
We don't need thoughts and prayers. That's not what we need right now. We need people to stand up for us.
After Missouri Rep. Mark Alford faced off with frustrated voters at a town hall in February, he told CNN's Caitlin Collins that he held no ill will towards the non-constituents he said showed up, even though he claimed he needed to have a SWAT team at the ready.
This was brought about outside agitators and some people from outside our district, not our constituents, who came there to make their voices heard, and I respect that. They have every right to be there. We did not prohibit them, even though they did not live in our district. And that's why I went in and faced the people who don't want me in office and some who wanted, I think, to do me harm. That's why we had a SWAT team and many police there. And I can take that. But I take this serious because this is the survival of our nation.
Days later, Speaker Mike Johnson appeared on the same program to claim that the disruptors at town halls were not actually concerned citizens, but instead paid agitators organized by the Democratic Party.
The videos you saw of the town halls were for paid protesters in many of those places. These are Democrats who went to the events early and filled up the seats. If the videos had panned outside the building...
You can't argue they were all paid protesters, though, Mr. Speaker.
Many of them were.
A Republican acknowledged they were
yeah.
his constituents.
One Republican acknowledged they were constituents. That's fantastic. Okay, but they had Democrats come and fill the seats early, all right? This is an old playbook that they pulled out and ran, and it made it look like that what is happening in Washington is unpopular. But I'm going to tell you, Caitlin, the American people are behind what's happening.
President Trump then echoed Speaker Johnson's theory about the, quote, troublemakers in a post-untruth social. Amid the backlash, Republican congressional leaders held a closed-door meeting on Capitol Hill on March 4th to discuss the best way forward. There, National Republican Congressional Committee Chairman Richard Hudson of North Carolina encouraged his fellow GOPers to avoid traditional in-person town halls. Virtual meetings were a good alternative, he argued. Other Republican leaders agreed. Quote, the town halls in the years leading up to our majority proved to be a bad idea because the union thugs, including the leaders of the SEIU and people backed by George Soros, found that it was an opportunity for them to get press and for them to not let people ask and get answered their questions. Even when the question came from a labor union paid person or other unions, they wouldn't let you answer the question. So of course it's a waste of time to spend taxpayer dollars to give the other side a forum to disrupt. Rep. Darrell Issa of California told the New York Post. According to a source, Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado warned her colleagues that demonstrations were getting more intense as the weeks dragged on, with some opponents of Republicans in Congress even coming to her home and harassing her children. Those types of threats are having an impact. Representative Keith Self of Texas is another leader who has faced the heat at his Coffee with Keith town halls. While he says he has always considered such fraud exchanges part of the job, in recent days, he and his staff have faced a slew of threats after he introduced the first transgender member of Congress, Sarah McBride, as Mr. McBride.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Self says the ensuing threats have caused him to put a pause on the face-to-face gatherings with his constituents.
This week you're supposed to be in Greenville.
Right.
You decided to cancel that, or was that your team that decided to cancel that?
Well, we had a call that we decided jointly to cancel it out of concern for safety, because we've been getting some really vile calls and just disgusting. My staff is absorbing that, and we're concerned about what was going to happen on Saturday. What you did was no different than calling an African American the N-word. Your behavior comes from the same place as that bigotry, a place of abusive intent. You are evil. You deserve to be destroyed, God willing. A good person will put multiple rounds in your chest so you can't hurt any more people.
Democrats, meanwhile, have slammed the GOP for their response to the town hall outbursts. Teresa Ledger Fernandez of New Mexico told Politico that Republicans are afraid of their constituents. And the spokesperson for House Majority PAC, a Democratic super PAC, told the outlet, if you're going to have the audacity to raise prices and rip away healthcare from millions of Americans, you should at least have the courage to face your constituents. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries released a video addressing the charges that protesters were paid to attend town halls, which he called a lie by, quote, people who are out of control.
Another day, another lie from these people who are out of control. I'm told that Donald Trump, Mike Johnson, and the extreme MAGA Republicans are claiming that Democrats are sending paid protesters into their town hall meetings. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? You don't need to send paid protesters into your town hall meetings. The American people are with us all across the country. People are rising up to push back against the assault on the economy, the assault on hardworking families, the assault on our democracy, and the assault on Medicaid. We don't need paid protesters, bro. The American people are with us.
While many voters angry at Elon Musk have been expressing their freedom of speech under the First Amendment at town halls, others have taken things further by participating in protests at Tesla dealerships.
Wait, but what is this? Whoa, what the hell?
As Tesla stock has continued to take a beating, and President Trump has tried to boost the brand by turning the White House into a Tesla showroom and writing an $80,000 check for one, others, like Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, have decided to make a stand against the company's CEO by ditching their cars.
Hey folks, Mark Kelly.
Here in Washington, driving to work for the last time in my Tesla. When I bought this thing, I didn't think it was going to become a political issue. What matters is, doing the right thing. I think it's time to get rid of it. Elon Musk kind of turned out to be an and I don't want to be driving the car built and designed by an So, looking forward to my new ride.
At the same time, there has been a disturbing uptick in instances of people engaging in vandalism against Teslas, with scenes like these becoming common in the US and abroad.
One of them was a Cybertruck that was just at the dealership for maintenance. It was spray painted and tagged.
You got balls, bro. He'll talk some shit and continue talking shit. This has no effect on him. This affects our community.
Elon Musk told Fox News' Sean Hannity that he's been stunned by the level of violence that has erupted and that a, quote, deranged mental illness on the left was to blame.
I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, or the Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here.
The White House has responded by promising to punish those responsible to the greatest degree possible. The swarm of violent attacks on Tesla property is nothing short of domestic terrorism, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi declared in a statement on March 18.
The president signed into law, through an executive order, restoring the death penalty. Do you think this sort of thing, and I hate to think it, people leave their children and pets in cars. I mean, you don't know. This is deadly, dangerous stuff these liberal protesters are playing with.
Yes, it is, Harris. And what I can tell you is that President Trump condemns this violence, and he is determined to restore law and order in our country, and he will ensure that the harshest penalties are pursued for those who are engaging in this vicious violence.
On March 20th, Bondi announced that 3 of the domestic terrorists who used Molotov cocktails to set fire to Tesla cars and charging stations were being charged. Let this be a warning. If you join this wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, the Department of Justice will put you behind bars, she said.
You said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe they'll go to one of these prisons in El Salvador.
Well, I view these people as terrorists just like others. When I looked at those showrooms burning, and those cars, not 1 or 2, like 7, 8, 10 burning, exploding all over the place. These are terrorists.
According to Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, there is a bright spot for consumers in all of the chaos: bargain prices on Tesla stock. He offered the highly unusual pitch during a conversation with Fox News' Jesse Waters.
I think if you want to learn something on this show tonight, buy Tesla. It's unbelievable that this guy's stock is this cheap. It'll never be this cheap again. When people understand the things he's building, the robots he's building, the technology he's building, people are going to be dreaming of today and Jesse Waters and thinking, gosh, I should have bought Elon Musk's stock.